John Dunsworth. When I was a kid, I used to ride my bike over there on that railing. And I even managed to drive it over that big hump there. It was a little bit more corroded than they fixed it since then. But sometimes, when I was finished with the bike, I might actually throw it off that bridge. The train yards are down below, and I hesitate to confess my perfidy. But I lived right up here. This is Yonge Avenue. I've actually written a story recently. It's in my audiobook. You want to check it out? John Dunsworth Stories. I don't know if it's in episode 1 or the first release, but it'll be in the second for sure. There's where I lived, right there. 561 Yonge Avenue. And I don't know if you can see it, but the upper windows. Can you see the upper 4 windows there? Mm-hmm. Okay, that was my room. And I used to lie there with my window open in the night and watch the lovers go by and watch the cars come down. If you look down the end of the avenue, we called those the Golden Gate Bridge. And cars would rev up there and go screaming down the avenue, do a nice slow sweep down the avenue here, come right down, and it would go bang right into, see that light pole right there?
Yeah.
That black light pole?
Yeah.
Well, every once in a while that would be taken out. It wasn't black then. It was, I think it was aluminum, but it used to be right up here at the corner, and every once in a while someone would take that out. See the curb here, down here? I don't know. Can you see that curb?
Oh, yeah.
It's all smashed up. It used to be a regular curb, but so many cars hit it, and I'd just wait there in the night, and I'd make strange sounds and voices. But one day, in this tree right up here, can you see that tree?
Yeah.
The second one in, actually, it wasn't this one, second one, I had a string from my window, and the window up there had a string down to that tree, and it had a Sikorsky helicopter on it, and the rotor turned, and it had a little hook right in the middle of the rotor, and I could lower it and raise it from my window. And I did it one night, when I first did it, was a young couple, lovers, and I let the Sikorsky drop down so they could see it just as they were walking down, and then as they got closer I pulled it up into the tree. And they looked at it for a while, and then they looked up at my window, and then they snickered and they walked off. Well, the next one was a couple of guys, maybe 3 young teenagers who were drinking in the park, and they came down, and I heard this smashed bottle up the street, and I heard them laughing as they walked down, and so I thought I'd do a real show for them. And
what did you do?
Well, I set it on the ground first, and when they were about 20 feet away, pulled it up. One of them yelled, "Holy shit, what's that?" And I hung it about 10 feet up there. He said, "Give me a boot, see if I can get it." And he climbed on the other guy's back, and I pulled it up into the trees. One of them said, "I got a stick." And they started throwing sticks at the thing in the tree. So I yelled out, I always had a deep voice, so I yelled out, "The cops are coming!" And they took off down the lane. Then the neighborhood dog came over sniffing around. I think we called him Hammer. But he was sniffing around, and he, I'll turn a light on, you can see better. He came over, and I teased him with the helicopter, and I actually got it sort of swaying back and forth, and he was jumping up on all fours, you know, trying to get the thing, you know, yelping, making a terrible racket.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, came the 3 young teenagers yelping and hollering, and one of them grabbed the Sikorsky, broke the string it was on. It was fishing pound test, and he wrapped around his hand, and he went, he smashed my poor little Sikorsky.
Oh, God.
And they jumped up and down on it, and they all started yelling up at my window, "Loser!" You know. Yeah. I have had so many adventures in my life, and I think it's because I've moved around a lot. And I've come to realize that people who move around a lot, they know a lot. They know about other cultures, and they have opinions that they've garnered from inspiration from all over the world. It's May, early May 2011. We're here at the Armdale Yacht Club. And the boys are getting anxious, and they're fixing up the wooden boats. And they're sanding down their fiberglass boats. And they're getting the floats ready to put out for the docks, for the fortunate people that can just tie right up and walk ashore, like me. And this is the Emerald Princess. You're looking at the stern of her. And I took the platform off, the swim platform off last year. It's right under there. And I rebuilt it. If you look very closely at it, you'll be able to see that there's 3 mahogany brand new pieces of wood on the very end out here. And these are all teak. But to buy those in mahogany was $100 and something bucks. To buy those same 3 in teak would have been $500. So I cleaned her all up and sanded her all down because I broke those last 3 because a wharf backed into me last year during a late fall storm. It wasn't late fall, it was early fall. I was moving it here. I was out by myself taking it to the dock, and the wind and the fog, and I thought it was in neutral, both of those beautiful Morse controls. And I was looking out into the fog, and I could see that boat ahead, and I was just sitting there, and all of a sudden, bang! I had the 2 controls in reverse, and we were doing about 4 knots. 20 tons at 4 knots. Anyway, she's fixed. Look, there's the boys on the bikes. Anywho, I'm back here working on the stern to get it ready to put that swim platform back on.
How long do you think this will take?
I don't know, but if you get to it, but if you'll notice that the holes that go through the hull go through very solid wood. But I'm thinking of changing them over to stainless steel because I used to have galvanized.
What was wrong with galvanized?
I think nothing wrong with galvanized.
No?
No, you're right. Why don't I just stick with galvanized? Save a couple bucks. Now, I put this stern on about 5 years ago. I had a fella help me. He knew what he was doing. We put ribs, oak ribs in here. We bent this brand new mahogany on. And yeah, she's...
How old is the boat?
It's 1958.
Where'd you purchase it?
Right here at this club. It sank in the middle of the winter.
It sank?
It didn't sink. It took on water and went down and sat on the bottom. So they said it had a leak. It was all leaking through here. So this was all rotten. But this is all brand hammer solid mahogany, 1-inch true mahogany right through there. And you know what? The little baby doesn't leak when I put her in the spring. Takes a day to tighten up a little bit, but then she's pretty good. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to having her in. Yesterday the mechanic was aboard and he started up the engines. We have to get a new carburetor for one of them. But he said they started up and purred like a kitten. So I'm hoping for a real good year this year.
What attracts you to the sea?
I don't know, I think because I was fortunate enough as a young fella to live on the ocean, and I had a little boat ever since I was a little kid, and my father loved sailing, and he passed that love along to me.
Tell me about your struggle with VLT addiction.
Okay, I gave up playing VLTs, and I haven't played any VLTs for at least 24 hours, at least.
Is it like...
I'll tell you about my VLT addiction. I am one of these VLT players who says, I don't have an addiction. It's under control. And from time to time, I will not play a VLT machine for over a year, maybe 2. I don't know, but a long, long time. And so what predicates my desire when I go in to actually play them? What starts it? And usually, you know, I know it's ridiculous to think of, but my brother said it perfectly this morning. When you give up something, you don't think about it. As soon as you think about something, you do something immediately to distract yourself, and usually something that's distasteful, so you'll connect thinking about smoking cigarettes with this distasteful thing. So I don't know what it is that predicates me playing, but I sometimes think it's when I do interviews about VLT, I go and I put $20 in, boom, it's kind of triggers something, and in a day or two later I might go in and put forward. But I have discovered that if I have $100 in my pocket, it is at great risk of going in. Even if I sit down at the machine and put in $20 and win $120, even if I have that there and I could press a button and walk out with it, you know what invariably happens? I keep playing that. If I have time, I will play that off in 10 minutes flat. It'll be gone, and I'll put another 20 in, walk away 20 down instead of 100 up. Do you know how many times that happens? Do you know what kind of sickness that is? I don't think there's a word to describe it. And if I, who am a semi-intelligent guy, who has only on a couple of occasions and within this year actually taken money out of a money cash machine to put into a VLT machine because I wanted to play some more, I did that. Even though I bragged I would never do that, and that's the only thing that saved me. So what is it that saves me from being ruined by VLTs? I mean, I don't know. Maybe it was that I had some discretionary income. Maybe the 50 or 60 grand that I put in over the last 15 years, maybe that would have wrecked somebody. But I know people with $150,000 salaries that spend so much. They've lost their family, they lost their home, they still have their jobs, and they feed all the money into a little scummy room and a seedy girlfriend. No, I went in earlier and asked for permission. Hello again. Hey.
Oh, you want to play that? Of course.
Split ya. Lucky gonna win. Yay!
Oh, fucking look at that.
Ta-da! Let me keep pressing. I'll bring you up. Okay. That's $1.05 bet, and the reward is $27 that we made. So if I put in $1.05 and I win $27, that's pretty healthy, isn't it? It's pretty big profit.
So you're making profit off this one time.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that machine will take that $27 back plus another $20 if it can, because it'll never pay out more than it takes in. So if you pay the machine, if you play it, the more you play, the more you pay. Now we don't own this. This is somebody else's machine. But I'll give you an example of how quick $20. I will sacrifice $20 for an experiment, and I'll bet you that within 5 minutes, this $20 is gone. That's what I'm going to bet right here. Gone. What do we play? Play that same game.
Let me sit there.
And here's the maximum bet. What time is it? Do we have a watch? We do. The time is 3:07. I'm saying $20 in 5 minutes.
See who wins, you
We bet
versus the
$250.
machine.
We just made $10 on $250, so that's pretty encouraging. We're now up $5 on 20. It would be really good if we had the moxie just to say, that's enough, I'll take the 5. But the machine, I love these machines. They give you the same hit that cocaine does. They take your mind off the rest of the world, and it's so mesmerizing. And the because they're designed like that. They're designed, and I don't expect to win. Not at all. But winning would be nice. That we should have taken that $5 profit because we're now down to $12.
So when you start to lose, and say you make a big win, John, and then you think you're going to get the next one, and you lose.
No, you don't think.
You don't think?
No, you owe.
You owe. Define. What do you mean?
Well, anyone who plays this machine knows that they're going to get hosed. So was that, how many minutes was that? 2 minutes? 3 minutes?
Under.
$20. Add that up. Just say I had a pocket full of 20s and I really thought, this is my machine. It's not paying right now, but I just have to play a little longer. How about 12 20s in 1 hour? That's nothing. 12 20s. That machine can eat $500 in an hour. If I want to feed it and it's not paying, and if I have a problem, I'm going to put the money in. Because look what it says. If I get a row of those, I'm going to be really rich. Ooh, look at if I get a row of those. Oh, that's what I'm shooting for, a row of those.
So John, do you have an addictive personality?
Yes, I do have an addictive personality. But there are certain things that don't appeal to me. Like some people are addicted to sex, some people are addicted to food, alcohol. I smoke cigarettes, sad to say. I've given them up 30 times, very successfully. Yeah. But the only reason I'm not an alcoholic is because I don't really have a taste for alcohol. I'd rather a nice, good bottle of Coke with ice in it. Mm-hmm. But these machines have my number. This thing here, that little machine right there, where is it? This one here, that guy, I betcha I've given him 20 grand.
And you were a gambling addict.
I presented myself as a gambling addict. I didn't admit it to myself, as most of us don't. Like, I would put in my discretionary monies. I didn't spend rent money or food money, but I put in thousands of dollars. I was paying the machine to make me feel good. But the sad part is that when you lose in these machines, there's enough endorphins going to your brain that's a reinforcement as much as winning. For some reason, losing is the same as winning.
Do you consider this a relapse?
Me putting money in today? I relapse all the time. Out in the airport. But I've reached a point now where I do have a limit. And the limit is the cash I have in my pocket. Because I've never took my credit cards. I've never gotten money from bank machines. If I was able to do that, I probably would have lost $100,000 easy. The groundswell of hurt and pain because of the loss of monies and funds and savings accounts and RRSPs and totally devastating families and hungry kids and whole streets of people. I met a whole street of people addicted to the tavern right next door. One of the women had to feed all the kids because she wasn't addicted. But for the government to actually prey on the weakness of people and destroy them utterly is something that I can't comprehend. And until I can get my head around it, I am considering myself to be apolitical with a vengeance. Any picture you want, a young guy who's got a young wife and family who goes out and drinks on Friday night and by mistake wins $100 in one of the machines. The next week he wins 50, he's fucked. If he's anything like I am, and I'm like 1 in 10 people for sure, 1 in 10 people who are gamblers in their heart. Not good gamblers, not smart gamblers, but just like that game of chance. People, when they get hooked on the machines, it's a different hook. I don't buy lottery tickets. I don't need an outlet, but those machines trigger something in my brain and in other people like me's brain that is just like what I'm hearing through studies, cocaine. Now, I don't know what a cocaine high is because I'm one of the lucky people who's never done coke. I did once, way back in Toronto.
Yeah. drips and all that.
That was 40 years ago. Maybe it was baking soda for all I know. I don't know.
Who
But it
knows
didn't
these
change
days?
my perception, and I'm so happy that I never got hooked on coke, because that is what VLTs are like. If you're in
Stimulant.
front of a VLT and you have $400 in your pocket and the machine is losing and you don't have to go anywhere for the next hour, you can lose that $400 in 1 hour. Yes, I'm very, very lucky to be cast in Haven, a sci-fi series being shot in Nova Scotia. Season 2, yay. I did Trailer Park Boys for 10 years practically. And what's the chance of a guy who lives in Nova Scotia being able to be in 2 really hot, popular series? Man, I can't believe how lucky I am. And when I decided to be an actor here, and people said, you're nuts. And then I said, I'm gonna start my own casting company. They said, you're nuts. But guess what? We're Hollywood North right now. There's so much going on in this province. I mean, I can't believe it. We're so lucky here.
So I may be able to stay away from it. It's channel 39, but 38 to 42. So I'm going to go 41.
Or how you always look the same. But. Or how you always look the same, but have each person's memories each time you come back. Each time you return. I'm going to say the original line.
Oh, you're a welcome sight.
What's knit, kitten? This is you, right? A long time ago. In fact, that was a record until, this is you too, right? Wow. It could be if she grabs the cup. No more lies. All the time I was searching for my identity, you knew who I was. Why didn't you tell me?
I'm sorry.
Vince.
She knows. What's the point now? I'm sorry.
Why? Why did you lie?
We were waiting till you seemed...
Ready? Well, I'm ready now.
There once was a man named John D, who I am very fondy of. No. Actually, hi, my name is Emily Rose, and I am on a show called Haven, and we are so honored and privileged to have John Dunsworth with us. It's like he's legendary. He is legendary around these parts. The thing I love about John is we could be going back and forth from location to base camp, and we will have an official tour guide with us of the Aspatagan Coast or whatnot. I mean, he knows everybody who's lived in every house. He's going to every event, supporting all these vets. I mean, the first time I ran into him, he was at the Trellis having dinner with some local vets and also welcoming us to Haven in the local area. And he's just a wealth of talent, and we're so honored to have him. I'm not from here. I'm from LA, and so when I came here and everybody said, "Oh, we have John Dunsworth," I'm like, "Oh, who is this guy? What's he about?" And since he's been here, all of his many hats he wears as a writer and a thespian, he's just fantastic. We're so honored to have him.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Locations, we have a 10-minute window for fans.
I'll bet you do. How's your girl doing?
Let's see what she does this time.
Inserts all over. And the wall too, which he comes up to the wall?
Yes. Hopefully we'll get that on her, go with her on her piece.
So do you ever have to play Santa Claus there?
I actually have to play Santa Claus in the very next episode.
Oh no, he's going to save this till after. Have you ever heard? Have you ever done a Santa laugh? You should throw one in.
I can't say that I have.
I did Santa 30 years ago, and I borrowed my laugh from a guy named Bill Fulton, who played it for years on CBC. That's Canada.
Oh, that's the Canada channel.
Yeah.
I know it. Yeah.
And he used to go like this. He used to go, ho 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 ho. Well, bless my soul. Like that.
I can do it.
Yeah, just from here to ho 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 ho. Try. Ho ho ho. So not in your throat, right here. Ho 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 ho. Go ho 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 ho. Even more. Ho 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 ho. Practice one. Okay. You got to bring one good ho ho into this. Don't you think?
I think you're right, but I'm gonna have to. You're gonna have to give me some lessons.
Oh, right from there. Ho 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 ho. That's still from there. Ho 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 ho. Go like this. Ha ha. Now do ha from there. Ha 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 ha. Get in there, but still in here. Bring it down here now. Ha 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 ha. Now ha 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 ho ho ho. And if you want to, that's getting there.
Okay.
Merry Christmas. That's what you should do to him.
That's what I'll do. I like it.
Okay.
Take it easy, buddy.
I'm jealous. I want to play Santa.
You'll do it next issue.
Stepping. With my hair, and I get my own.
If there's anything to do.
There's nothing to do. And watch the makeup. It's so simple. All she does is touches me with her powder puff.
There's nothing on it. Just
Judge, I can't take it anymore. Every morning before lunch, every day he comes home. Before supper, after supper, all night in bed, before breakfast. Judge, I can't take it anymore. He said, hold on. He said, have you filed your affidavit? She said, filed it, Judge. I can't touch it with the powder puff. Oh yeah, I usually wear glasses, but not these ones. As you know. I took them off in the last episode for the first time to show that I was getting wet of eye. She usually doesn't do this. She usually just goes, you're fine.
No,
Well, actually, she squints. And
Here's
goes,
what I really do.
Yeah.
I go, look in there. What happened to your scratch? Or where did you get that scratch? And then we just go to this.
yeah.
And you have comments about what is going on with this line? What does this mean?
This is the most incredible food on any set I've ever been on. And what's for lunch today? Check that out. Roast beef.
No, that's roast leg of lamb
Roast leg of lamb.
and chicken enchiladas.
Chicken enchiladas, and they always have fresh vegetables. 20 pounds of corn here.
We got fresh broccoli,
Fresh broccoli.
brown rice.
Brown rice. Oh, beautiful Idaho potatoes. One thing about Haven, they sure take care of you.
What are your religious views?
It's very strange, my relationship to... I don't have a close relationship with Jesus, as it were. I have a closer relationship with Mary, who is... I realize that the Christian myth of Mary is borrowed from many other different religions, but there's a prayer, and it's Hail, Holy Queen, Mother of Mercy, our life, our sweetness, and our hope. To thee do we cry, poor banished children of Eve. To thee do we send up our sighs, mourning and weeping in this valley of tears. And I love that poetry so much that it has created a relationship between me and the Virgin Mary. And intellectually, I cannot accept the fact that Almighty Creator came down and impregnated a young lady here on Earth to produce an offspring. But whenever I do something bad, stupid, I blame myself. And whenever something really nice happens, I always try to remember to say, thank you. Because there is something about fate. There is something about, I mean, I know some people that are so unlucky, they get born into a bad situation and bad things happen to them over and over and over and over again, and I just feel so lucky. So, thanks.
I got Julie in her bubbles, giving me most of my troubles. Who's really fucking up the trailer park?
Buddy, I've got a lot of good things to sell. You should say, I don't know about that Christmas shit, Bubbles, but I'm gonna make some money. Yeah. And I wasn't even coming to the store, but I just found out that Santa Claus lives where you guys live. I can't wait to come get drunk and high as fuck and meet Santa Claus. And then when he says meet Santa Claus, you should just stumble in there. Okay. Oh.
Hey, this is Bubbles from Sunnyvale Trailer Park. Just want to tell everybody there on the internet that we're coming to do a live Christmas tour this year. We're going to do a whole bunch of Christmas shows around the world. Boys, come say hi.
Bubs, I don't know about all this Christmas bullshit, but if I'm going, man, I'm making money. We clear?
Julian, that's what I want to teach people. Christmas isn't about fucking money.
No, it's about Santa Claus. And I didn't know this till Bubbles told me, but I guess Santa Claus lives where you guys live, so I can't wait to come get drunk and high as fuck and meet Santa Claus.
Oh, fucking ho!
Here comes Drunka Claus.
How you doing? Randy, come in, over.
I'm in position, Mr. Lahey, over.
Oh, thank you, Randy. I want to drink a toast to Rick the Dick. This is your last Christmas, Ricky.
Oh, is that right?
Lahey, we're trying to shoot a thing here for the internet. We're coming to do a Christmas show, so just please come see it.
We're coming real soon.
I think my best memory of Trailer Park Boys and working on the set of Sunnyvale was every Friday night. We'd have a few drinks and smoke some joints. It was called the Big Dirty. This one Big Dirty was the best dirty of all dirties. It was a night when Alex Lifes and Corey Downey were with us. We kind of we set up a stage in this place that we called Trailer City. It's a place that we all hung out, all of our trailers there. We'd get ready every day and hang out in Trailer City. And it was fucking amazing. It was one of those nights where everybody was drunk, we were having a good time, everybody was stoned. Alex was on the guitar, Gord Downey was singing, and he was basically just making up the lyrics as they were playing. Then all of a sudden, it just started fucking raining like crazy, and there was thunder, and there was lightning. There was like 2 inches of water flowing through Trailer City. Alex had to stop playing because he was afraid of getting electrocuted. Then the boys kept playing, and he couldn't fucking resist. He had to get back on the guitar and start playing, even though he could have fucking died. And that was one of my fondest memories of Trailer Park Boys.
Okay, so here we are rolling up to the former home of Trailer Park Boys, and where we shot season 5, 6, 7, the Christmas special, both movies. And I haven't been here in, I guess, 2 years, and in that time a great deal has happened. The second movie got released, and that was a success, and now it's the first time I'm seeing the park without all the trailers, without having to go through security. But there is security here. Hello, but he's a guy I don't know. That's kind of sad. And also, since being here, there was a humongous fire which broke down the park. It's kind of depressing to be here because it does look so different. But what you can see is, what a lot of people don't know, is that our set was actually built around the perimeter of a former rehabilitation center for people who were mentally ill. So as you can see, the buildings are painted camouflage, so that if while we were shooting, the camera would sweep the building, you wouldn't notice it. Right there is a tree where Lucy asked Ricky to marry her, or Ricky asked Lucy to marry him, or something. This is the exact area where the wedding went down, the second one in the big movie. And we're now starting to come around to the back side of the lot, which was really the home to the art department. That would have been where Ray's dump was, with this collection of old pieces of wood that very much made up the home that was Sunnyvale Trailer Park. It's sad that it's a bunch of rubble. There's a shopping cart in there though. What was lovely about this set was because it was so big, and because it was paved all the way around, one way to let off steam or to deliver something important was to hop on a bicycle and ride around the perimeter of the park. I think it took 2 minutes, but you could see all of Dartmouth and beautiful backdrop of a lake that was the home to bald eagles. Check out that gorgeous lake. And so always when we were on set, there was a beautiful view. It was of this lake, the ocean, and it really felt like kind of a summer place to be in. Strangely, this weird place. Our summer home. And then look at this. Look at all this graffiti. This is recent. I've never seen this before. This has been over the last couple of years. And as I'm looking at it, I'm looking to see if there are any Trailer Park Boys references.
Hobo with a shotgun, that's what that is.
And I'm seeing now that, I guess this is where they shot Hobo with a Shotgun, which was kind of something that wasn't a spin-off from Trailer Park Boys because of the people involved with it as much as the director of Hobo with a Shotgun, I think, was inspired by Mike Clattenburg and his ability to make something out of seemingly nothing. And there were some alumni who worked on that show as well. That's a bad word.
Okay. You're doing excellent. I love this.
Thank you.
Take it away.
You can see up here, this is the old muffler shop where Lucy and Ricky got caught banging. That was an awkward shoot. But this is an amazing place because it went from this old mental hospital to a set for 2 successful local productions. It's kind of, I guess, only in Nova Scotia where you would have to use the resources for that. Here's the prison where the set for the prison that was in the film and in at least one of the seasons. And now we're coming up to a really, really crazy bit, and this is a gym at the back of the hospital, which we hadn't really used as a set, but we had spent time in, and it's really gutted. All that's left is the infrastructure and the framing, and it does look quite amazing. This hospital was a really strange place to shoot because it was haunted. Sarah and I would refuse to pee outside at night in the outhouses. We would actually pee outside the outhouses. Sorry, but it was too scary to go in an outhouse in this place. Now we're coming up to the part of the park that we refer to as the old park. And the first season that we shot here, we really concentrated on having trailers around here. And there was a trailer in front of there that's gone now. I think that's where Lucy and Sarah's trailer was. It's really weird to be here. It kind of breaks my heart a little bit, honestly. It's like going back to your favorite place to hang out and realizing it's not really there anymore.
All right, let me think here. Very funny and good times. There's been a lot of good times on the set of Trailer Park Boys, and one of my favorite times was we used to shoot many scenes during the day, and we were always on the move. And I remember this one particular day, it was beautiful and sunny, and we finished a scene and we had to transport to another area, and the way I was transported to the next scene was jumping in the back of Ricky's car, the shipmobile. And the person who was being transported with me was Mike Clattenburg in the trunk, the director, and I believe our sound man, our mixer, Mike O'Neill. And we were all just flying around in the trunk of the shipmobile. And I said, boys, this is the time of our lives. This is what is important, and we should really take a moment and really enjoy ourselves at this moment, because I was, totally. And that's my story.
If you can tune in to their narrative and make a positive contribution to their trajectory through the cosmos, then you're doing a good thing. And you can't take credit for anybody's success, and you can't take blame for anyone's failure.
No, you just document it.
Well, they is what they
is. You're slicing it up to where you want to.
What?
You can make them whatever you want at the end because you slice and dice. You could take the meanest farmer in the valley and make him a nice guy.
And they do that all the time.
Well, that's good.
Well, they're humanizing
exactly.
Stephen Harper, they're humanizing.
Holy Jesus, if you can do that, why?
They put him on the piano.
But you know, he's still got those Karen Homolka eyes, though.
See, I don't...
You ever notice that?
What?
Stephen Harper.
What do you got?
Karen Homolka eyes.
Karen Homolka.
You look in the eyes of that man.
Yeah.
And you see Karen Homolka big as life.
Is Karen Homolka a good person?
She's the one who rape and kill all those girls with Paul Bernardo. Karen Homolka, just released from prison.
That could be her brother.
She witch of Hamilton.
Oh, that could be her brother.
Could be her brother.
You know what I heard? This is a story about a guy in Kingston who was a prick cop. And everybody knew him because he was there for years. Yeah. He just happened to be up in Tweed, I think it was around Tweed, where that guy Russell was killing them women. Yeah. Right?
Right.
And the cop, the sneaky cop, was in charge.
Yeah.
And Russell comes up, and they say, oh, the base commander let him through, and the shit-based cop says, wait, nobody gets through me. They took the print of his tires. Without that, he might not have got caught.
Got him.
He might have. So prick cops got their place in the world, too.
I guess that's...
I don't know what I'm saying there, but I'll tell you. One of the chief joys of working on a wooden boat is scraping the bottom. And it's a long task. I mean, 400 square feet of bottom and a minute or two per foot. So that's 6 to 10 hours of scraping on the bottom. But I like to do it myself because then I know what I got. But this is the prep, just scraping the loose copper bottom paint off.
All right, John, where are we today?
Right now I'm standing beside a monument that I made for my dad, Dr. Francis Alfred Dunsworth, MD. He was very proud of that. He was a psychiatrist, nice fella.
When did he?
A good man, a very principled man, and he loved sailing. So, for some reason I got it in my head that I should make a sculpture. Now this took quite a while to get together. This is a well crock here, and it's set on gravel. I dug it down, maybe that, filled it full of gravel and put this heavy cement well crock. So it's staying relatively, like if you'll notice a lot of monuments over the years, they sort of tilt and they get askew. I'd sort of like this thing to be nice and secure over the ages. This will last a long time. Somebody may come along and pry this off and take it and sell it. So this shouldn't really be on the internet because people say, oh, look at that.
Nice piece.
But
and what inspired you to use the sailboats as a monument?
Who actually knows where the ideas come from?
Mm-hmm.
Why I wanted to make a monument for him? Because to show respect. I have another one, 2 more with his name on them. One's in a church in Halifax. But this is an interesting story that you will not believe. I want you to move in close on this here. And I'm going to ask you people out there if you believe this story. This piece of granite right here came all the way from India, where it was cut, mined, quarried, sent to China, tooled to my specifications, put in a container with some other stuff, and delivered to me in Hubbard's. I had to move it here by my truck, and that was a deal, because that must weigh 1,500 pounds. I think it weighs 122 pounds per square foot, cubic foot. So figure that out. Must weigh 1,500 pounds. Anyway, my total bill was $97, honest. $97. Now, that's the way the world is right now. Like, it's confounding what can actually be purchased for dollars. And right now, the world's in a big conundrum. We are under an incredible fiscal, Ireland just had to borrow $180 billion after saying it wasn't for weeks. Now there's a couple of other countries in the European Common. I think, doesn't it just come down to the low value of the Chinese currency? Doesn't it?
Yeah.
Holy mac. When they talked about the Yellow Menace, did they know what they were talking about? That's incredible. And the world right now is being squeezed by a kind of antipathy between the Christians and the Jews and the Muslims and the Buddhists and the Hindus and whatever else you have. And it's so insane. Now, my brother Philip took his own life 3 years ago in 2007. Here's something neat about Philip Dunsworth. In small case, PD, backwards and forwards is PD. In 1961, backwards and forwards and inside out is always 1961. And this 2007, it was August.
Where did it occur?
And that was his birthday. It was in August. The story of my brother Philip was that he became a little bit obsessed with the internet and with what was going on in the world. And because he had a sickness, he was, I guess, schizophrenic, probably, but brilliant, unbelievably intuitive. But he was, like I was saying, when you flip his date around, he was also the yin and the yang. Like, he did. Right now, when I'm talking about North Korea and how that's the new scare right now, and Ahmadinejad in Iran, and if you don't want to fear about politics, how about the Higgs boson in Switzerland? Looking for the God particle with speeds of light atom coming. I mean, the world could. If you want to talk about 2012 and the end of the Mayan calendar, you can talk about the world going to shit because we're destroying the atmosphere. And Philip, my brother Philip, that's what he did.
And the fear-mongering.
He became obsessed.
Can you start from he became? Sorry.
Yeah.
He
became obsessed with the dark side. And I don't know if the computer or the internet had anything to do with it, but I know that the reason he took his life was because he couldn't hear music anymore. His hearing was going, and he attributed that to drugs that he took. He didn't follow the doctor's prescription, which I don't blame him.
No.
Because of what was going on. I think he was misdiagnosed myself.
Well, so he was diagnosed with schizophrenia.
He was diagnosed with schizophrenia. Yeah.
And
now, a lot of people say when one of their loved one takes their own life, they say, look, you can't blame yourself. But I think we can. I think every single one of us has a little bit of share of the responsibility. I mean, I can think of 10 things that I might have done that changed it. The weekend that he died, and I was in Barrie, Ontario. I remember when he hung himself so quietly, still with his glasses and his hat on, just very, very calmly pinched off he'd studied how to do it. At that time, I was racing 70 miles an hour around or 70 clicks an hour in a storm on the middle of a lake up in Barrie. And I look at his death dispassionately in a way. Like, I made up that epitaph, a brother loved, a brother lost. I mean...
Do you feel guilt?
No, I don't feel guilt. I feel that some responsibility I let down, but it's not tinged with the guilt. It's just a knowledge that I could have invited him up to burial on that weekend.
But would that have changed things?
Someone else could have been with him that moment that he hung himself. You know, walking him through, getting him over the hump. And that's the thing about suicides. If there's someone there at the risk time, I'll bet you it would cut down suicides a lot. I mean, would it count to help a person who's maybe going to spend the next 20, 30, 50 years of their lives depressed? Does it help to save their lives so that they can live that life? But, I mean, to me, there's always hope.
Okay. All right, John, I just want to know a little bit about the book that you're going to be writing.
I've been a doodler all my life, writing this and that, you know, little stories or scripts or poems. And I don't know why it occurred to me that I should put a compendium, if that's the right word, of short stories together.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe it's because I'm old now, 64. I still feel like a kid. But maybe it has something to do with wanting to, you know, leave a record of some sort.
Legacy.
A legacy, perhaps. But I don't know what I have no idea what motivates me to do this. I know that if it wasn't for the ability to come here and have my friend Ryan and his wonderful wife Grace. Hi, Ryan.
How you doing?
Hey, how are you?
They're keeping me on track, and we're recording this as a possible reading book. Is that what you're calling it?
Yeah.
A reading book.
That's correct.
And we're thinking now that perhaps, I mean, we don't even know if it will be hardcover or softcover. We don't know if it will be a story time book or what, but we figure if we put 100 stories together on tape and in print, and then have a few objective readers go through, that we might pull out 50 or so, maybe 64. They're just short. They're, 3 to 5 minutes long, I guess, each.
Mm-hmm.
And just take a stab at publishing. The Toy Boat Shop. Whenever I talk to young people about life choices, I like to stress the importance of seeing the world as full of possibility. Take a good look at the given circumstances before you commit yourself. It may well be that the world does not need what you want to make your living at. Stay informed before you take your best shot. I haven't always followed this advice. 30 years ago, I established my first entrepreneurial business based on my own love for boat models. 30 years ago, I established my first entrepreneurial business based on my love for boat models. I had collected over 100 of them from all over Nova Scotia while touring with different theatre groups and teaching high school drama classes in preparation for the Nova Scotia High School Drama Festival, which I managed for many years. Each model was unique. There was one built by a young polio victim just before he died, a 5-foot pond sailor from the 30s, a magnificent motorboat with a homemade engine that still worked. I had a fiberglass tank 3 feet deep for testing the ships that kids could build at the construction table. Balsa wood for hulls, cotton for sails, and fast-drying glue. How could anyone resist? My idea was not based on a profit motive. Admission was 50 cents. This at a time when museums and national historic sites were free of charge. I've never had a budget in my life, but got whatever I want when I wanted it. Thank goodness I've never needed luxurious entrapments, just the necessities. Therefore, I never even considered whether the overhead could be covered by the income. I had advertised in the paper, dropped off flyers at the Tourist Bureau, and had been launched very nicely by the media. For a couple of days after the opening, I manned the store. Several of For a couple of days after the opening, I manned the store. Several friends dropped by with best wishes. But I had to leave for a month to Newfoundland to direct a play in Corner Brook, funded by Theatre Canada. So I hired someone for $6 an hour, trusting that business would bustle and I'd have lots of cash to pay her. Our production of Journey of the Fifth Horse was pretty impressive. I had a lot of trouble clearing the dueling pistols for shipment from Halifax, and to be truthful, it was a difficult play to pull off. The lead actor, a fellow named Byrne, was the most untypical Zodich imaginable. Zodich was a sniveling manuscript reader in Petersburg, Russia. The part was originally performed by Dustin Hoffman off-Broadway. This Byrne fellow was going through, but can we go back to the...
What is your fascination with stone? What is it?
In the same way that I would like to have a record of being an artist or a student of the art, I think that the stone has a kind of permanence. When I'm dead and gone, a lot of the things that I built out of stone will still be around. A lot of the films that I've done will still be around, but people won't see them. But when I make a monument or some kind of sculpture, it stays around an awful lot longer.
And your biggest sculpture, I'd say, would be the one that you have in the front of your property there?
The biggest sculpture that I'm not made, big is good. The biggest sculpture is the one that I made for my brother Philip out on the Windsor Road. It's 22 feet across.
How long did that take to complete, John? It's not completed yet, I know, but how long did it take up to
I've been working on it now. This would be the third year coming up.
Wow. What's the estimated time of completion?
I never even think about it.
So it's just to keep putting stones down.
Well, what's the next piece that's going in there is a 15-foot pine log about this round that I'm going to make a totem out of. And why I'm going to do that, I have no idea, but I've got the wood and it's sitting in my yard and it's just waiting for me to actually carve it, and I have to be inspired. I've got the tools to do it with, but I just don't quite know. Every once in a while I have an idea and I say, hey, that'd be great, Philip would love that, but I just chipped a little bit away at it and I haven't really come to any conclusion of what I should build there. Today we are on an adventure. This is late in the year. It's December 7 or 8, and we haven't had any real snow accumulation in Nova Scotia. So what we get to do is we get to go to the quarry on the Windsor Road. It's so sure sand and gravel. Now, I don't know if I've been coming here for 15 years or 20 years or how long it is, but I've been here hundreds of times with this truck and the truck I had before, collecting beautiful rocks. I have to find one nice rock. A big one that weighs about 400 pounds, 600 pounds to lift. Great shot.
Now, of course, you can really injure yourself here because, you know, any one of these rocks could weigh 40, 50 pounds, and if it lands on your fingers, it'll crush them. As happened to me last summer.
So be careful.
John threw me a rock and I kind of half grabbed it when I didn't have a good grip on it, and it fell and crushed my fingers.
Did you break them?
Yeah, it's just smashed the tip of my finger into little pieces. So the doctor, when I took it in, he did an x-ray and he said, oh, this isn't, I can't even splint this. You're just gonna have to go with however it heals. So I have a bit of a crooked tip on one of my fingers, but it came back okay. Hey, there's a good one. But John took me to the hospital, and just before it happened, I was standing on a huge rock that that I said, I mused, hey, this would be cool to have at my house, jokingly. Probably weighed 8 tons. And while I was in the hospital, he went and got a crane truck. Arranged for one, and then they brought that rock over to my house.
Cool.
8-ton crane.
Wow.
Pretty cool. Oh, that's wedged right in there. Nice one though. Okay, check out this rock, folks at home. So this one here would make a fantastic little part of a walkway or something.
Or table.
Tabletop.
It's not perfect.
No. But it's probably close enough to roll it out. So you wrap it around like a belt. With chain.
You want to grab a rope from the...
Yeah.
I see you have an OPP jacket on.
Yeah. I made friends with some guys in Ontario, some police guys, and they gave me some flashes, and I just sewed it on there because there was a hole in the pocket. And yeah, I remember we did some videotaping up there, and one of them had his taser out, and I said, "Come on, taser me." I wanted to see what it was like. That was after Robert Chikansky got wonkled.
Oh yeah. So what was it like?
He wouldn't do it.
No?
No. This is called a bowline. This is the best knot in the world. Because even if you really come onto it, you can always loosen it off just by doing this. Even if you put 2,000 pounds on that, you can always loosen her off.
He loves it.
Am I driving over the road?
Stop! Oh, here, I'll take it off. That was cool. perfect load. That was perfect.
Get that out of my face. Look, you erase that right now. Look, George, come out here. There's some... Who are you people anyway? You got a card or something? You better not put this on the internet. Turn that off, I see the light on.